Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we have a Retribution Paladin guide for the first week of 9.1 to be ready for 9.1. Now normally the way I do these Ret Paladin guides is actually wait till all the information is present, and then I go ahead and do a guide that has literally everything in it. It's all 100% confirmed, and people can use it as a gospel basically if they need to. However, I have realized that people do want to be ready for patches because they take breaks or play another class or whatever, and or maybe they're trying Ret for the first time. So these are some things to be ready for 9.1, the very first week, things that you might just be curious about, things that I've seen people ask questions about. So let's go ahead and start with Covenant. So if you played Ret in 9.0, you know that Kyrian was the best Covenant. So this Covenant was kind of mirrored with Venthyr for a while. There were some simming issues that kind of caused that, causing, I believe it was execution sentence to not simulate correctly. However, it became very clear by the end of 9.0 or even a few months into 9.0 that Kyrian was the best Covenant. We do expect this to stay the same. You should not have to switch your Covenant if you are already Kyrian. If you're not, and maybe you're Venthyr because you also play Holy, that's understandable. But as far as DPS goes, min-maxing, doing the most damage you can, Kyrian is likely to still be the best Covenant. And it just comes down to the fact, guys, that Divine Toll just synchronizes so well with Execution Sentence and Final Reckoning, all being on a 1-minute cooldown, being able to pop Seraphim before them as well. It's hard to, it would take a catastrophic, not catastrophic, but just monumental change to how one of these abilities works or the power of them to really kind of switch off from the Kyrian path, I guess. So you are likely to stay Kyrian. That being said, I don't think every possible thing has been simulated yet. There could be some reasons to argue for other Covenants that are not yet out. But as far as right now goes, you can plan on staying Kyrian or going Kyrian for 9.1. Sticking with talking about the Kyrian, let's talk about the Soulbinds a little bit. Now, throughout the course of 9.0, Pelagos, of course, was the best Soulbind, and we do expect that to stay the same as well. However, I did want to talk a little bit about some of the new abilities here with Pelagos. And so we have the normal stuff. You're still going to always want to use your Ring Clarity Conduit and rank that up as much as possible. This conduit's very much better as you rank it up because eventually you get close to 100% of all of your Divine Tolls getting full procs with Ring Clarity. You're going to unlock a new Potency conduit, allowing us to equip not only Ring and Clarity, but like Templar's Vindication and Virtuous Command at the same time. Also, Truce Wake, or the Truce Wake conduit has been fixed. That's the Wake of Ashes conduit, and that should be working correctly now. So a fight similar to Stone Legion Generals, for example, that would be a very good conduit to use. It was just not working correctly in 9.0, but it is at least supposedly fixed. So we are basically able to have 3 potencies slotted in now. But more importantly, we did have 2 new power abilities added at the bottom of our Pelagos tree. We have Better Together, which is going to increase mastery by just a little bit, just by 40, but that's still a nice little increase. It's like adding, a couple gems to your gear, so it's a nice little increase of mastery there. And then we also get at the bottom Newfound Resolve. So this is kind of cool. This is a 12% strength and stamina bonus, and it lasts for 15 seconds. And basically what happens is that you have to face your doubt. I'll have this in the background video, but a big thing spawns. It has a nice blue flash light. I found it very easy to spot, and you just have to turn and face it, and then you'll get that 12% strength and stamina buff. And it's actually, that's a lot, obviously. 12% strength's a nice little buff to get for 15 seconds randomly. These can proc, literally, there's no procs per minute. These can proc one right after another, or you could go 2 minutes without getting one. So it's just a percent chance proc on these Newfound Resolves. And yeah, so this is a very strong buff, 12% strength, especially like during your wings if it procs. It's really good. You do have to face it. Sometimes it'll literally spawn right in front of you, like looking at you, so you don't even have to move. Sometimes you will have to literally turn around and face the other way, either going in front of the boss or just stopping DPS for 1 second to get the buff. Either way, it's a buff worth grabbing. And it is easier than collecting the Pelagos orbs, at least in my opinion, the mastery orbs from the Combat Meditation. So Combat Meditation did get nerfed, by the way. But it's still quite strong because of the mastery bonuses that Ret Paladins get. So we have a total of Combat Meditation and better together, giving us mastery. And then we have a strength bonus from Newfound Resolve, combined with being able to use 3 really strong potency conduits. It makes us quite good for single target, at least theoretically. So, yeah, Soulbind should stay Pelagos. They did do a nice little buff to Forge Light Prime. However, this is more geared towards people that are using like a ton of spells really quickly. And so like monks, for example, seeing a big increase in possible use for Forge Light Prime. However, like a Demon Hunter even, which is known for using quite a bit of things, or using them very quickly at least, did not. So Ret is kind of maybe in the middle of those two in some ways, especially depending on your haste. But I do not foresee Pelagos switching off of the main one. Just that Forge Light will be better. Maybe there will be some even specific uses for him. I did see something about maybe some AoE implications used for Forge Light. So we'll see more with the Sims go from there. This isn't a huge deal, obviously, because we can switch between the Soulbinds very easily. So if we have to switch, it's not a big deal to switch your Soulbinds. It's not the same as doing your switching a Covenant or something, for example, right? So let's go ahead and move on to Legendary. So I did just release a video about Divine Resonance. This is a new Kyrian Legendary. I mentioned in the video I didn't know when the Sims were going to come out. So the Sims literally come out, just 24 hours or so later from me making that video. And so Divine Resonance is the new Kyrian power legendary, and you just get that by doing the campaign. I believe you'll get it the 3rd week, so you'll get it just in time for Mythic. This will be, as far as right now, this is again based on right now. It's not gospel. This is not for certain, but as of right now, there has been simulations done, and Divine Resonance is the best single target legendary for us. So that means it surpassed Verdict. Final Verdict, and becomes the best by a decent amount, not a ton, but by a decent amount. It did surpass it, and we will want to be crafting this. This is also good because it's a legendary that you can use in multiple situations, and it's a legendary that if they ever let us equip 2, it basically will work well with any other legendary essentially, but it would work really good with Final Verdict, and it would work really good with Magistrate's Judgment. So Divine Resonance is very, very strong. If you want to know more about exactly how Divine Resonance works, go ahead and watch my latest video on Divine Resonance. I really break it down for you there and kind of talk about some little cool interactions with it as well. But this is going to be the best legendary. The slot you're going to want to craft it on is probably your belt. So I can't tell you exactly what to do. Your guild might require you to do something else, and I'm not going to go into the whole issue with domination sockets being on legendary slots and all that kind of stuff. There's tons of content out there if you want to hear about that. I will say you probably want to craft your Divine Resonance on your belt, and you're not going to unlock it until week 3 anyways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save up all my soul cinders. I'm going to save up all my currency for crafting legendaries, and I'm going to go ahead and create my Divine Resonance on Mythic Week, the 3rd week of the patch, and just have a rank 5 Divine Resonance and go into raid with that. That is the best overall legendary anyways. I guess it's worth mentioning that the Tempest of the Lightbringer is still expected to be the best AoE legendary. So that could be on your waist already as well. That could either be on waist or legs. Both of those actually still work with the Domination sockets anyways. So you are kind of free to upgrade your Tempest of the Lightbringer as well if you're really worried about AoE. That still should be the best AoE. So what we should have, again, more simulations will tell the tale as we get more information, but we should have Divine Resonance being your best single target legendary, Divine Resonance being your best multi-purpose legendary, and then Tempest of the Lightbringer being your best pure AoE. All I'm casting is Divine Storm legendary. So pretty easy. Not a lot of conflicts for us specifically because both of these things can go on your waist essentially. Tempest can go on your legs as well, but very easy to just put all your legendaries on your waist. Very easy to swap gear that way as well. And there really won't be a ton of reasons to use other legendaries other than those two, although I'm sure that there could be very specific fights where that is the case. But yeah, so let's go ahead and quickly just mention the Domination sockets real quick and the Domination gear. So if you don't know about Domination gear, this is your head, shoulders, chest, bracers, and hands for plate, or your 2 other sockets. And this gear is going to just give you a little bit of a power jump by adding gems to it. Basically, you just want to collect as much gear as this as you can at the highest item level. So you don't need to have, you could have multiples to have multiple gems in each one, I guess. But you want to eventually have 5 of those pieces. Again, that's head, shoulders, chest, bracers, hands. So you do want to be collecting that gear week 1 as much as you can. There's a reputation piece. I don't believe you can get that week 1 though from Korthia, so that won't be relevant for week 1. And the raid doesn't come out week 1 either, and that's why I'm not going to talk much about this, because week 1 wise it doesn't really matter, because I don't think there's any way to actually get the Domination gear week 1. I'm trying to think if there's a way, but the raid's not out, and I don't think you can get the rep item week 1. So I don't think there is a way to get it week 1. So it shouldn't matter for week 1, but it is important to know that going forward, right? And when you're crafting legendary or whatever you're doing, that your head, shoulders, chest, bracers, and hands will likely be Domination gear at some point during the patch. Other than that, I think that's about all. Everything else that I would mention would just be like a general 9.1 guide thing, 9.1 survival guide. Blizzard puts those out. I will say my favorite creator about the guides is Soul Breezy. If you want to look out his 9.1 survival guide, I think he does really good work. But this is just specifically for Rat. So not a ton of changes, but just some things to be ready for. You do have a new legendary to be ready for, and just to know exactly how, all the especially the new facing your doubt thing. It's very easy. You just turn and face it for the Pelagos ability. But yeah, just know that just having that information should be good. As soon as everything is for sure, or as soon as any of this information that I'm putting in this video becomes outdated, I will do some sort of an update, just so you know that, hey, this what we think right now, or what we think as of the second that I'm talking ended up being wrong. I will of course correct that. So as always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel, because it helps me out so much. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.